I don't think they ever loved me the way I loved them. Have you ever sat alone and wondered, was I asking for too much? Not for money, not for gifts, not for the grand gestures, just the same efforts you gave them. For the longest time, I thought love meant showing up. So I showed up every single time. When they were sad, I stayed. When they needed help, I answered. When they called at midnight, I picked up. When everyone else left, I remained. I thought that's what people do when they care. I thought if you love someone deeply enough, they'll love you the same way back. I was wrong. The first time it hurt was not during the fight, it was not during an argument, it was not anything dramatic. It was my birthday. I remember waiting all day for a message, not from everyone, just from a few people who meant everything to me. People I would dropped everything for. Morning passed, nothing. Afternoon passed, nothing. Evening came, still nothing. And suddenly, I found myself making questions for them, making excuses for them. They must be busy, they probably forgot, they'll remember later. But deep down, I knew the people who genuinely want to remember remembers. And that's when the ache starts. Not anger, not heartbreak, just an ache in your chest, in your heart. The kind that sits quietly there. The kind that makes you realize you're standing somewhere alone while everyone else has already gone home. After that, I started noticing things I used to ignore. I was always the one checking in first, always the one calling, always making plans, always the one asking, are you okay? And one day I stopped. Not to test anyone, not to play games. I just, I was just tired. So I stopped reaching out. Do you know what happened? Nothing. Days passed, weeks passed. Nobody checked on me. Nobody asked where I was. Nobody noticed my silence. And that hurts more than any argument ever could. Because when you stopped watering a plant and it dies, you realize you were the only one keeping it alive. I remember sitting on my bed one night, staring at my phone, looking at chats filled with messages from me, questions from me, efforts from me, love from me, and almost nothing from them. That's when a horrible thought entered my mind. What if I mattered less to them than they mattered to me? I hated that thought because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Suddenly, old memories started looking different. The cancelled plan, the forgotten promises, the delayed replies, the times that were not there when I needed them most. I used to call them accidents. Now they look like patterns, and patterns tell the truth that excuses try to hide. The hardest part was not accepting that people disappointed me. The hardest part was accepting that I had spent years making excuses for them because I loved them. And when you love someone, you become incredible generous with your understanding. You give things that hurts you. Like you forgive everything. You excuse things that could be have excused, that should
Just
have not
terrifying.
been excused. You convince
Always being
yourself
available,
you
always being there, and never feeling
like
chosen.
Do you know what
Like
hurts?
that
Watching
crumbs
people
are enough
expect
because
from
you're
you
scared to ask
what
for
they
the
are
whole meal.
unwilling to
Until
give
one
back.
day, they expect your
You
support, your
cannot
loyalty,
do
your
it
kindness, your
anymore.
presence. One night, I broke down. Not because of one specific event. I was just terrified. The exhaustion of always being understanding, always being available, being there, and never feeling chosen. Do you know what hurts? Watching people expect from you what they are unwilling to give back. They expect your support, your loyalty, your kindness, your presence. But when it's your turn to need something, they suddenly disappear. That's a pain nobody talks about enough because it makes you question yourself.
You wonder if you are difficult. You wonder if you are needy. You wonder if you are expecting too much until eventually you realize you were not asking for too much. You were asking the wrong people. That realization changed everything. I stopped chasing, stopped begging for attention, stopped convincing people to stay. And something surprising happened. The loneliness did not got worse. I got quieter, more peaceful because there's a difference between being alone and feeling alone around people who don't value you. Today I still care deeply. I still love hard. I still show up for people, but not for everyone because I have learned something important. The people who truly cares about you won't make you question your place in their lives every day. You'll feel it in their efforts, in their actions, in their consistency. And if someone only remembers your value when you're wrong or you're gone, then they never appreciated your presence to begin with. So if you're listening to this tonight, wondering why people don't love you the way you love them, please hear this. Your ability to care is not the problem. Your heart is not the problem. Your loyalty is not the problem. The problem is that you've been offering oceans to people who only know how to hold a glass of water. And no matter how much you pour, they'll never understand the size of what you gave them. But one day, you'll meet people who do. And when that day comes, you'll finally understand that you were never asking for too much. You were simply asking the wrong people.